Is this idea that your performance is and something happens to you and your performance stays here. And that's not what resilience is. It never has been. Resilience in the face of setbacks is the idea that here you go, something happens, it's a dip. But resilience is the idea that you recognize this setback is a part of your achievement pathway, and you're going to return and maybe even exceed your previous performance despite it. You learn from those experiences. But more than that, they are just going to happen if you have ambition.
Resilient good at choosing carefully where they select their attention. They have a habit of... Resilience isn't some fixed trait. It's not elusive that some people have and some people don't. It actually requires very ordinary processes, just the willingness to give them a go. Today I'm just going to share with you 3 strategies. Number 1, resilient people get that shit happens. They know that suffering is part of life. This doesn't mean they actually welcome it in. They're not actually delusional. Just that when the tough times come, they seem to know that suffering is part of every human existence. And knowing this stops you from feeling discriminated against. Terrible things happen to you just like they do everybody else. That's your life now. Time to sink or swim. Number 2, resilient people are really good at choosing carefully where they select their attention. They have a habit of realistically appraising situations and managing to focus on the things that they can change and somehow accept the things that they can't. Resilient people don't diminish the negative, but they also have worked out a way of tuning into the good. It involved trying to find things to be grateful for, make an intentional, deliberate, ongoing effort to tune into what's good in your world. Number 3, resilient people ask themselves, is what I'm doing helping or harming me? In your bid to get that promotion, to pass that exam, to recover from a heart attack, asking yourself puts you back in the driver's seat. It gives you some control over your decision making.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Unspoken with Zadok. Well, like the clips we've watched, we're going to be talking about developing resilience and coping mechanisms. With so much pressure in the world right now and with people trying to juggle their daily lives, you know, it gets to a point where you might get overwhelmed, and that point might be your breaking point. But for you to reach that point and be able to balance things out so you don't melt down or have to go bonkers, yeah? We're here today to talk to you about developing that resilience and how to cope with this. And as usual, I'm not alone. I've got my team with me. I'll allow them to do the honors and introduce themselves. Welcome, sir.
My name is Ndoka Chukwuma. Thank you for inviting me once
You're
again.
welcome, sir.
My name is Sejiri Joanna Tialubi, and it's good to be here again.
Welcome.
My name is Oyetunji Tunoluwa, and I'm also elated to be here.
Great. Good to have you. Now, from that video we watched, right? Sir, what is resilience to you?
Resilience is the ability to come back from a challenge or to withstand life's challenge. It could be stress, it could be failure, it could be anything. But it's the ability to withstand it and also to make a comeback. Yep.
All right. Have you been in a position where you had to bounce back? That something that put you down and you had to bounce back, sir?
Yeah, a couple of times. Yeah, I used to be a businessman before I came into full-time ministry. I got my first hit. That should be some time ago, 1994 December. I just discovered that I have lost everything I have at that time. Money has gone, debt that cannot be recovered. It hit me hard, I had to fight back, and by the grace of God, I came back. But then, again, a good friend of mine took away everything we built. And so what I want to say is that we should be prepared to face life challenges, because life will always happen. Yes, we should be prepared, and then when it happens, we should be able to ask ourselves, what do I do now? It's not about blaming myself because, okay, let me use David as an example. They came back from somewhere and discovered that the Amalekites took everything they had, wives, properties, and burnt their place. His people, his boys, were thinking of stoning him, that he made a decision that took them away, but he did not fight back. He focused on finding out what next to do. And God said, pursue, you will overtake, and you will recover all. So I think if I must come back, I shouldn't begin to condemn myself or begin to look for who caused what. I should ask myself, what should I do now? Now that I'm here now, maybe, like I said, that I've hit the rock bottom, what should I do? What can I do? Is there anything? And I should also go for consultations. Look around, who is he that can give me what I need to come out of this situation? I think we shouldn't be too proud to ask, go for help. Sometimes we are too proud to go for help.
Our ego comes in, Sometimes we just feel, like you said, you're at a particular point where people see you, people celebrate you,
yeah.
you're making impact, people are looking up to you, and then all of a sudden,
yeah,
everything flattens out.
Yes. As a matter of fact, by the grace of God, I started flying 93, doing things I was doing well. So you could imagine, for me to discover that I've lost everything. And where will I start from? It wasn't easy, but then we should be strong. We should always know that it doesn't matter what happens to you, you can come back. Remember that whatever it is, you built it. I'm talking about, maybe it is business now, okay? Because when we talk about resilience, it could be fighting from maybe sickness, from but you should know that comeback is possible. Comeback is possible. This guy, Tiger Woods, for many years, he was what?
Under.
Under, but he came back.
He came back.
So I should know, I should tell myself that comeback is possible. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, sir. Yes. So, the lady, what's your thought on resilience? Do you think this current crop, this generation, the current crop of men, have you met people, have you met men that you've interacted with around you? Do you think we're as resilient as men used to be back then?
Were men resilient back then? Were they?
Or they were just probably stoic?
You see one thing about the societal expectation, especially in regards to men. You know, when we talk about resilience in men, sometimes people mistake it for being stoic, you know, and that is where the problem has always been. Okay, men would go through stuff. They won't even want to acknowledge that they are going through stuff because they feel it makes them look weak. So for me, as a woman, I think resilience in men has to do with the ability to come back from challenges, like you said, challenges, setbacks, but while maintaining emotional balance, stability, and a sense of self-awareness, such that they don't shift blame. They take responsibility for whatever it is has happened, if it is their fault. Yeah. And if it is not their fault, they acknowledge that, oh, we are all humans, we've made mistakes. This has happened, so what should we do next? Okay. So for me, for men, it is not a situation where they do not acknowledge that there is a problem. A man can lose a loved one, maybe the mother, and you tell the guy that, oh, sorry for the shit happens. They feel makes them a man to do that. No, you acknowledge that I love this person and she's gone. I can't ever talk to her again. It makes you human to be able to acknowledge your emotions, okay? And then how do I go from here? What do I do? Maybe loss of job. Loss of job, you know that money is not coming in, and then sometimes they even tend to be aggressive towards their partner for the married ones. Sometimes if they are singles, they go into drug abuse, escapism, and all of that. That's not what resilience. Resilience is not your ability to escape from the problem and look as if there is no problem going on. We are not saying that you should look like your problem, that you look tattered, and acknowledge that there is a problem. When you acknowledge that there is a problem, then there is every likelihood that you have already started the journey of solution. You understand? So for me, resilience in men is ability to go through issues, but maintaining that emotional stability, right? Without going down the drain and being able to come back and, you know.
Now, from what you said, it's, coming to you. Don't you think it's the societal expectations of what men, was expected from men? That, there's expectations from you. Yes, even if life is beating you, you should, you shouldn't be beaten. You should stand up. You should man up.
Well, the societal expectations are always going to be there, and you just need to know for yourself that every day, like I want to say this because I feel like, like you mentioned, for this generation, the men coming up now, you need to envision problems. Like I'm not saying you should anticipate it. Like it's definitely going to come. So what people will say, people will definitely say things. People would say man up. There's a new word that I think it's normal for you to show up as a man. It is normal for you to show up, but it is also normal for you. Failure is also a part of life. Failure is part of success. On your journey, if you check up the lives of great men, great people in the world,
they failed at some point.
They failed at so many steps that, like, even before getting to that success, even when they got to that success, there are still things that they still keep working on. So there's that weakness in us that would definitely be there, would always be there, would always make us remember that we are not as strong as we think we are. Because if you keep dwelling in that strength that you think you have, one day something stronger than your strength will come and you go down crumbling. So once you know you channel your source of strength to something greater than you, which the pastor said something about. He mentioned God. David, he didn't. That's what happened in that chapter of the Bible. Wasn't his first challenge. He had been facing problems, so he knew where to go to. He knew who to talk to. So he didn't need to start being scared of what the people are going to do. He told his priest, bring me the ephod, like bring it to me, let me speak to God, because he knows, he has experienced it before. And God told him, do this, and they did it. They even got much more than they took away from them. Yep. So society would definitely talk. Like David's people, they spoke, they were like, yo, we followed you to go and fight. And now they've carried our wives and our children, and you expect us not to. People are reactionary these days. You just need to stay grounded, be grounded, and know who you are, and channel whatever has been helping you so far.
Okay.
I think I like what he said. Be grounded in you. I think that was what I was trying to refer to when I said sense of self-awareness. You must have that sense of self. You know, people will mock you. For instance, if you've had a very good job, for example, and you've had buildings, houses, you got cars, and then suddenly everything went down. You had to sell off some things and all. There will be some sect of people who will mock you. You have to know yourself and then be able to realize that you can bounce back, right? Just like Isaac, you know, I'm a Christian, so I always go to the Bible too. You know, when Isaac father died, Abraham, and then he was digging the well, and the Philistines would come and take over the well. He would dig the well. They would come and take the well. He would leave them. He would fight with them. He would go again. And you know how tough it was to dig well at that time. He would dig well, and until finally he got to one well he dug, and then they didn't come to fight him again, and so he called that were real, but you know. So we should have this mindset that our challenges do not define who we are, and I think men need to know this. Men have tied themselves or their identity to material things, their ability to provide, their ability to have things, you know. So if I do not have a car and my friend has a car, I am not a man, I'm not man enough. And so it makes them to begin to sometimes do substance abuse, you know, they have self-identity crisis.
Like lack of sense of purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's very important for a man, first of all, to have that sense of self-awareness, that identity. Who are you? So when this calamity or challenges or setbacks, when they come, you know that this is not me. But I'm going to navigate this and I'm going to come out stronger. For some, it can be just a year. For some, it can be 2 years. I want to imagine what Job went through in the Bible. I don't think anybody can go through that and still remain sane. You lose your, you know this Reverend Umar Ukpai that died recently. You know, one of my mentors told me something very interesting. And after that conversation, I sat there, I said, God, you know I don't have the strength of my You know, I was told that he lost children on the same day. Four of them. And that same day he had a ministration in Lagos. And he traveled to Lagos. He did that ministration and then he went back, and that was when God now told him, with what you've done, I'm going to release a certain number of angels to you. Whatever you say would be fulfilled. You know. And I told God, I said, I want that same promise that you gave to the man. You know, so for men, basically, they have to know who they are, so that when these challenges come, it doesn't change them. It doesn't make them deteriorate. It doesn't affect them so badly. You know, of course, it will shake them. There's no, if you've been working before, that means that you could sit down in your house and order pizza. You could do a lot of things. So when you now have these challenges, maybe that Gary go be your pizza.
I also think having a goal in sight, like knowing where you're going to, so that when you keep failing, your eyes are set on where you're going to. Like this, there are, we have been using the Bible, we can go to football, the football world, players get injured, and you see a very prominent player, someone like Chris James, very, very good player. He knows even people on that left back cannot even, or that right back cannot tie his shoelace. But he kept on having issues with his knees. But he kept on coming back. He kept on coming back because he has a goal. He knows he has that determination. For tech people too, you see people. You think all the applications you have on your phone today, all these things that came up as an innovation.
You had multiple
These
trials.
people have failed. AI that is here today now, AI that is here today has been for years, and the breakthrough didn't come until like 4 or 5 years ago. So you just need to keep pushing for the goal.
Yeah, it's good for one to just, first of all, like you said, have a vision and pursue that vision relentlessly, such that even when the challenges come, you know that with this vision you will achieve it. Now, I think I was reading stuff about Simon Cowell. Now, Simon Cowell has built empires and they will build them, they will crumble. He said the painful one before he started with America's Got Talent and Britain's Got Talent and all those talent shows was that he lost everything and was sleeping on the couch of his in-law. You know how bad that can be for you? You don't understand. You get to the extent you have to sleep on your in-law's couch. I can imagine what it would is like when they just pass in the morning. Just, idiot, stand up. You are still sleeping. Go and mow the lawn outside. You know? Have you taken out the trash? Because at that point, you are at your lowest of the lowest. Yeah. But when people see Simon now, and then he's being aggressive towards people, I think for him, it's his own coping mechanism. He feels he needs to be able to, you see, he hits people that hard that, but at the end, you see, I've seen him hit a whole lot of people hard, and some people will go off certain seasons, and then they will come back next season, and they are like, and then the way they are coming back, like, oh, but most times, because we are this kind of people, we don't want to go to so much pressure. And then, but one thing I've come to discover now is challenge is a bus stop in Ibadan. So it's just a bus stop. It will pass. That's one. Two is your self-worth and your vision. And I think another thing for me would be, if equipment has issue, please go back to the original equipment manufacturer.
Yes.
Go back to the manual. Find your way back. You've got the source. Just go back to your source.
I think it's easier for let me not restrict it to just Christians, but people with strong religious beliefs. It is easier for them, not that it is, not that they don't face challenges, but it is easier for them to come back because they have their belief system linked up to, you know.
Maybe the word is not easier. Maybe there's a pathway for them. There's a laid down path for them, so they know. They always, it's always. They always know. Like now, you're in probably a religious setting where you've been told this. You go to churches where they've been told do this, do that, do that. When you face a form of challenge, you have a pastor that can counsel you. So you always know where to go to. You have a fallback.
But not everybody in that same religious setting has that privilege to tap into that pathway. So that's what I'm saying. For some, it is easier, you know.
I think it's also, when you're up there, I think one of the things I've learned, going back to the Holy Book, I'll go back to the story of Joseph. Now, the thing is this now, even the book of Ecclesiastes still does the same thing. There is going to be time and seasons for everything. Mm-hmm. Now, the 7 years of plenty, and there's 7 years of need.
Yes.
Now, in your 7 years of plenty, what did you build? Now, in your 7 years of plenty, what mechanisms did you put in place? Who are those you've pulled up? I'll give you an instance. I'm trying to remember something now. Okay, I'm trying to, how do I say this without casting off? Okay, I have a friend and we're talking and he told me that back then when his father was working, his father was doing business, a whole lot of people used to tell his father he doesn't know how to do business. Because what? I think there was a point his father was importing batteries from China, and then his brother-in-law was running the transport service. And the brother-in-law would come and pack batteries, and that he was always pulling people up. But at the same time, most times they run down his business. They run down his business. And then that it got to a point the father was on it, as in, it just got to that limit. And then, but it was some of his boys that said, Oga, this so Oga is going through. No. That they came together and like, Oga, would you like to go into oil business? Do you know anything? He said, I'm open to it. And before you know, the man owns that, he's into oil and gas. He's doing well over time. Now, the thing is this now, in his years of plenty, apart from building structures, he was building people. Now, do we build people around us, or do we use our 7 years of plenty to boss people around us?
You've answered the question, sir.
Already, yes.
Because it's just...
The illustration he gave already answered the question. I think it is important for people to use that years of abundance to build a network, not just to build people, but network of people, you know. Because for me, I'm a Christian, so I always go back to the Bible. The Bible says, whatever you sow, you reap. So if you have helped people, it is not compulsory that it is those same people you helped that will come back to help you. God can raise other people, right? So it is always good that when you find yourself in a position to help people, help them without consequences to yourself, right? And be very mindful with your help, okay? Don't help people in such a way that you begin to blame yourself and then you suffer so much consequences for it. So when you help people, make sure that you have protected yourself from any consequence whatsoever within your power to you help them. So when you help like that and then you are fixed, know that one way or the other help will come. But there are times that you have helped and help does not come. Job in the Bible did not look like somebody who did not help people. But he wasn't helped.
Maybe sometimes God
look at Nelson Mandela.
Maybe God is trying to reset your path. Now, the thing is this, I believe sometimes when we look at, it's normal for us as humans to have expectations, right, of people around us. But I think there are times that God just wants to show you He's God.
Look at Nelson Mandela and look at Obasanjo. They were doing very well. They were generals, and they found themselves. Obasanjo was a general. He found himself in the prison. Who would bail a general from the prison? Who wants to bail? Did you understand, sir? So there are times you find yourself in that situation where nobody will help you, where nobody can help you. It is just you and you. That's why I said some people that have strong religious belief, you know, it helps them to succor. You wake up in the morning, there is a God you pray to. Your heart is lighter. Unlike somebody who does not believe that there is God, he just wakes up and his heart is so heavy, and the next thing he remembers is, oh my God, can they get me that weed? I need to escape. It's so overwhelming.
Yeah, I think that reminds me of also, I think the Bible is just like the best manual for this, because this story about people and building people and all, the story of, or was it Paul and Silas, that like the people, the church were praying for them. And Peter, they were praying for them, and they didn't know that would happen at that point. And someone went to open the gate and they saw Peter and they were like, "This is a ghost."
Road at the servants.
And they shut the door back. But it wasn't the people in the prison that were praying. It was the people that they've preached to, the believers that they've preached to, that they've helped in terms of like they've nurtured them. So they also believe in that power of like, this man has done miraculous things by
even the Peter himself. The Bible did not record that he prayed.
The Bible did not record that he prayed. It was the people that were praying for.
Well, let's go for a short break, and then we'll extend this, so we'll come back.
Healthy coping mechanisms. What are healthy coping mechanisms? Everyone is quick to identify unhealthy coping mechanisms, but what are you supposed to do when you're upset? First, you need to identify the source of your upset, and then secondly, you need to socialize your problem so that you can learn to be accepted in your vulnerability, be accepted for who you are. Identifying the source of the issue means you figure out why it cuts so deeply. Negative emotions are there for you to understand. They show you how you think about yourself. Once you know how you think, then you can start to hear the irrational logic and start to reframe your thoughts. Healthy coping mechanisms allow you to understand your suffering and then move towards solutions that will help lessen your pain. Whether it's cognitive behavioral therapy, meditation, journaling, talking to friends, talking to your therapist, practicing mindfulness, learning to set boundaries, the list goes on for how you can face your problems to learn to resolve them so that you're not constantly numbing out and running away from yourself.
Important for people to understand what coping mechanism they use when they are stressed, because we have adaptive, which is healthy coping mechanisms, and maladaptive coping mechanisms. Now, coping mechanisms are just conscious strategies that we use in order to manage stress, and a lot of us are engaging in maladaptive coping strategies and not even realizing it. I wanted to go through the maladaptive coping mechanism. Let me know if you identify with any of these. So this is just a summary list that I found that talks about these behaviors. These include things like avoidance behaviors, escape or withdrawal, binge eating, self-harm. People can engage in substance use, anger, rumination, maladaptive dreaming, emotional numbing and shutting down, procrastination, intrusive thoughts, self-blaming, and repetitive behaviors. The thing about these strategies is that people might feel temporary relief initially, but long-term, it's likely to make people feel worse and actually have negative impacts both psychologically and physically. Save this video or share it with someone you think might find it helpful, and follow for more.
Welcome back. So from the clip we just watched, for the men in your community, what do you advise them? I'm sure with your position, people have come to you at their lowest point. You know, what do you usually, can you just run us through what usually, the process?
Yeah. I would say that building a very strong support system is very important for one to cope. Now, you don't, like they say, if you run alone, you can be fast, but if you want to run and get far, you have to run with people. And when you are down, you have someone that could help you stand. So we must build a very strong support system. To me, one of the most, if not the most strongest man that ever lived was Elijah. Powerful, a one-man battalion, okay? But then, when Jezebel spoke to him, he tucked his tail and ran and resigned. I used to think that Jezebel was powerful, was a powerful witch. But one day I caught a revelation that it was stretch. The man handled 450 prophets of Baal. He bent his head in between his knees and prayed 7 times. We don't know how long each time took, right? Then, had it been the man was married, when the messenger came, he would stop him at the door. Oh, my husband is resting. Give me the message, I will deliver. And by the time the man wakes up, he'll be refreshed. Okay? So we have to build what? Support system. We have to, that if, like I said, if he's, hadn't been he was married, you know, his wife would have come in to help him. So again, we should take time off to rest. God did not do any miracle. He just gave him food to eat. After eating, he slept. When he woke up, he gave him another one to eat, and he slept. And I asked him, hey, so what is the problem? That was it. So when we walk and walk and walk and we don't rest, we will rest one day by force. Now, but the point is this. If we are stressed, we won't think right. If we are stressed, we won't make the right decisions. Okay, so I would say resting, building, strong support system. And again, my brother says something. He said that incident wasn't the first time David was having problem.
He's always had.
Yes, but he knew what to do whenever he has problem. So you have to teach people, when you have problem, what do you do? Sometimes, some of us used to do the right thing, okay? But we don't know that we are actually, practicing what will help us. You have to break it down to them and say, look, okay, tell me a story about your life. By the time they begin to talk, you begin to bring out what they did that helped them. I say, look at, you've done this, keep practicing this. So, and I will also add that apart from talking to God, we should read. Some of us, the last time we read was when we sat for our final exams, or if you want to sit for interview, okay? Just to read anything, read. It will help you to develop your mind, to be exposed, so that when certain things happen, you'll be able to handle it, you know, even without having someone to help you. So.
Okay. Now, I know you've had experience with education, right? You've had experience with young men. You've had experience with, you've mentored people. And I know you're currently mentoring youths now. What would you say to a youth who walk up to you as a young man? He's trying to find his foot and it seems like the world is against him. What would be your advice?
Well, let me start by saying that there is this trend amongst youths now, starting from the Gen Z era down, you know, they have this arrogance of intelligence, you know, thinking that they know it all and all. Nobody knows it all, right? It's true. Your access to intelligence or to information, to knowledge might be more than other generations, you know, but it doesn't mean that you know it all. Life can come hard at everybody. So what I usually advise, first of all, you know, like we said, know yourself first of all. 2, know that these challenges do not define you. 3, what are the you don't worry yourself to death. One of the things that people find easy to do when they have challenges is to think and to worry. One, you're going to worry yourself to death, literally, because you're going to have associated problems such as anxiety, high blood pressure, you know, all these. Imagine these challenges will now go. You will now be left with the results of the overthinking, and you will now be nursing health challenges. You know, when you're supposed to be saying, Oluwa Oshewo, you know, you are now back to nursing problems. So it's like an unending, you know.
Circle.
So first, make sure you don't over worry yourself to death or you overthink yourself to death. Also, what are the things you do to take your mind off your problems? Not that you escape from it, but to provide you temporary relief in the positive light. You know, he said something that I love so much. That is reading. You can read. There is this book, latest book by Femi Otedola. I really want to buy it. And I want to read it. You have it? Oh, you come and borrow me. You know, you take time to read. We may not have the same experiences that he has, but we can learn 1 or 2 from it because he's a human being. Yeah. He's been through so much and he's sharing his knowledge, right? You can also make friends with the older ones who have gone the path ahead of you. They have had far more experiences than you with your access to knowledge and can never have. Do you get that? So when young people go through stuff, they should make friends with older ones and ask. Again, it is not all advice that you take. But when you know yourself, you will be able to know the advice that suits you and not suits you. But as a Christian, there is also this thing called discernment. Yeah. So when you get the wrong advice, you know. There is a spirit that bears witness in you and all that. But if you're not a Christian, it's okay. You still have that sense of self that tells you, oh, no, this advice is not for me and this is not for me. Avoid temporary relief like substance abuse. Avoid it. It is enticing. It looks easy. You are in La La Land and your head is, I've never experienced it, so I don't even know how to describe it. When I look at films, I watch movies, you know, and I see that it's like they've gone to space, you know. I know it seems enticing because problems can be overwhelming. But when you do that, you become addicted to it. It's like you're also giving yourself another problem again. Before you know, sometimes some people have mental problems from it, you know, addiction. No wife will want to stick to a man that, you know, is having substance abuse problem. Even the children will be ashamed. They won't want to say, this is my... Do you understand? So I think for young people coming up, let them understand that I know everybody likes the soft life, but life is not a respecter of what you like or not. It comes at you. So let them have at the back of their mind that problems will come, but let them look for healthy coping mechanism. For some, it can be gym, going to the gym. They should avoid binge eating. There's this thing called comfort, eating. And then before you know it leads to obesity. And
all right. Thank you. Itunu.
Yes, sir.
Now, in 2 minutes, what situation have you found yourself that seemed like you were never going to get out of? And how did you come back?
Well, that's a very practical question. Well, I would say the most profound one was when I was in university. I happened to go to a private. I attended a private school, and then it wasn't that my father was an affluent man or whatever. He struggled to send us to school. My father is a lover of education. Now imagine getting to school and you are seen as the firstborn of the family, and you seem kind of smart academically based on your academic record. And then you're studying one of the top courses in the world. But then you don't even know what you're doing in school. Like, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was chilling. I was enjoying life with guys. I came from a Christian home, but I started deviating, and then it started affecting my life, started affecting my academics. And then my energy, I used it for people around me. I helped guys that didn't even come from a family with a good moral standing. But based on the fact that I came from a moral background, I was able to help them to pass through the school without getting expelled. But for me, I couldn't tell them what I was going through academically. I was going through my thing. I was having carryovers upon carryovers. And then I spilled over. Spilled over first year, spilled over second year, spilled over third year. Which in a private school, it's something that it's so uncalled for. What are you doing in school? Why are you spilling over for 3 years? So I spent 8 years in private school. But those times of my life were the formative time of is what I said made me to be who I am today, to come back and sit back and think, because those times we were doing things that even parents at home you can't tell them. If you tell them, this guy does this, you're like, no, my son does not do that. My son does not do that. But then you were doing all those things, and then it affected you. But then if I had graduated with those habits, if I had graduated, probably I would have traveled out by now. I would have been still doing those things, but not realize, because I didn't fail. So I would have still believing like that, and the repercussion in the future would have been far fatal than what I faced back then in school. But then I kept pushing. Imagine big boy in school. I was a very big boy when I was in school. And then imagine your guys are gone. You're now the only guy walking around the school. People look at that guy. Very unserious. You can imagine. So, but I didn't allow that to face me. I faced it, and I made sure that I graduated. Lecturers didn't think I was going to graduate. My final exam was my best result in school. It was my best result. My HOD called me to the office, and she was like, do you know you could have graduated from this school with the first class with this result that you had in this final exam? I was like, well, she just advised me that when you become great in life, please don't be hostile at other people coming up, because they knew they were actually hostile at me at that point. But that was the beginning of me realizing what life is and building resilience about life. Yeah,
it took a lot for you to keep going.
Yes.
Your parents would have been like, but
my results will come out after my mom will sit down and sit and will cry. Me and my mom will cry when my result comes out.
Damn. Let's take a short break. We'll come back, we'll continue.
To become mentally resilient from a licensed therapist, number one, you lean into uncomfortable emotions. That anxious energy in your body, you don't avoid it. You face it, you sit with it. And even though it's hard, you know that's where the growth is. Avoidance keeps you stuck. Leaning in builds emotional resilience. Number two, your self-talk is useful and truthful. Forget positive or negative. Ask, am I talking to myself in a way that is helping me? That shift trains your brain to stay grounded and focused, especially when things get hard. Number 3, reward your effort, not your intelligence. Dr. Carol Dweck discovered something surprising. Praising intelligence is actually worse than no praise at all. But when you praise effort, you build persistence, better long-term outcomes, and a mindset that keeps going when things get hard. Number 4, mentally rehearse hard situations. Picture yourself staying calm under pressure. Imagine yourself, what you'll say, how you'll feel. That kind of mental training wires your brain for resilience before the stress even shows up. Number 5, ask to be taught, not saved. Instead of, can you just do it for me? Try, can you show me how? It takes longer, sure, but it turns you into someone who solves problems, no matter how hard.
You're the problem. And my point is take accountability for your actions. You can take all the credit in the world for the things that you do right, as long as you also take responsibility for the things you do wrong. It must be a balanced equation. You don't get it one way and not the other. You get to take credit when you also take accountability.
Welcome back. So, I need you to just give us advice in 1 minute, just what should we always anticipate that things can either go wrong at any point in time, or should we just mentally prepare ourselves that whatever it is, I will stay focused, I will achieve my goals?
Okay, I wouldn't want to use the word anticipate, but I will say that the Bible says, if you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. In fact, when I saw that, I said, wow, this God is not sympathetic at all. So in other words, he is telling us that challenges will come. So I should know it. Okay, I should know it. That challenges will come, but then God has promised me victory. I should just hold on to him. But then I learned something. The psalmist says something. Why are you cast down, O my soul? Why are you disquieted within me? Hope in God. I will praise his name. So I've learned that I need to be speaking to myself. He was speaking to himself. So why are you cast down? Hope in God. I will praise God again. They will hear me. This is not my last, the last version of me. Job said, I know that my Redeemer lives. In the last, he will stand, and in this my flesh. The flesh was eaten up, but I will stand in this my flesh. So I need to be speaking to myself audibly. Speak to yourself positive things. I think it's very important.
Yeah, thank you very much. And TJ?
I agree totally with what he said. The power of positive affirmation. You keep talking to yourself. Even when you have people mocking you, you repeat to yourself that you are not your problems, you're not your challenges. The challenges will come and they will go. Like what he said now, if he had allowed those experiences, to weigh him down, I don't think we'll be seeing the Ituno we see today now. You understand? So we should just keep speaking positively to ourselves and encouraging ourselves. We have to encourage ourselves first before any other person can encourage us. So whenever you're going through challenges, don't give up. Keep pushing. And very soon, you'll come out stronger.
Yeah. All right. Ito?
I think one of my biggest takeaway from what he said was, Elijah, God didn't do any miracle for him. He just gave him food. It reminded me of one meme like that. They asked the guy, "What do you want?" He say, "My first chop." Like, make a first chop. Settle down. Like, your mind needs to be at peace for you to be able to forge forward. If your mind is not at peace and you're troubled within you, you're not going to be able to move to the next level. So you need to find that calmness within you. If it is reading of books, journaling, meditation,
watching movies,
all those things
exercising.
that you do. Yeah, go to the beach, see the ocean, see the waves moving. Like, just do things, see nature, and then you'd find solutions along the way. So do not sit back and expect miracles to happen. You have to actually anticipate it, speak the words, and you would get out of that problem.
You do the work.
Yeah, do that one thing I want to say again is practicing micro resilience every day. every day there's a form of challenge that you try as much as possible to practice that micro resilience of that day, so that when the bigger ones come, you'll be able to surmount them.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Well, for you at home, I'm sure you've enjoyed this episode. I've learned. Stay calm, face your fears, face your problems, work on you, and when there's an issue, go back to your manufacturer. Go back to your manufacturer. Your manufacturer has your original manual. Go back, and she'll be fine. So we'll meet next time on Dominion TV. Please follow us on all platforms, Dominion Broadcast, and enjoy yourself.